Thank you. Without wasting for the time, I must invite.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. I would now like to request Professor Bhavani P. Sinha, Technical Program Committee Chair, to briefly speak about the program. Professor Sinha from the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, ITER, served as the head of the Advanced Computing and Microelectronics Unit. He was the Dean of Studies of ISI and was an ISRO Chair Professor in IIT Kharagpur. He was an Alexander von Humboldt Fellow of Germany. Of the many awards and honors he received in recognition of his excellent academic performance and outstanding research contributions, the most notable are M.K. Sinha Memorial Award, Homi Bhabha Award, Ramlal Vadha Medal, Faculty Excellence Award of Clemson University, USA, and the Eminent Engineer Award. Professor Sinha is a Fellow of IEEE. His research interests include computer architecture, algorithms, parallel and distributed computing, mobile communication, and wireless networks. So,
thank you very much. Very good morning to all of you.
Intelligent enterprise, smart enterprise, and smart home, and communication between them and cloud services would import that smart connected community feature. So already in the US, there are examples of Amazon Go based on Internet of Things.
We are closely working with the government of India, not only in government of India, many states also. You guys are working. So can you please throw some lights how actually and where exactly you guys are working?
Thank you. Eminent panelists, it's really an honor to be sitting here with such a august audience and people on the panel. Our talk is basically, if I were to put it very, very easily, 100 smart cities in the next 4 years. That's the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister. Let's everybody quickly in 30 seconds take a scenario, right? What is a smart city? We saw
Security is beyond that. So good, you have highlighted those things. So sir, you are coming from CEDAR, and you know when I go to China and represent Huawei is a big company. It's coming like a Silicon Valley. We have almost 150,000 people are coming. Then I find out when they asked me, do you have a company in India? I said, yes, we have CEDAR. So that's why you are from CEDAR and you are taking our Indian lot of products you have built like routers and all these things. So how you feel that CEDAR will play a big role in our next 5G revolution? So that way actually we'll find out our telecom revolution is already started and how CEDAR will play an important role.
Thank you. I would like to thank the organizers, such eminent personalities in the panel. Operator, infrastructure, standards, smart cities, and MNC. But I am from CDOT, Center for Development of Telematics. It is an R&D organization, Government of India, established in 1984. The same scenario, whatever we are facing today in terms of smart cities or 5G, we faced this one in 1984. We started this organization indigenously. We developed the vendors. We developed.
And I think one of the things that we should be.
I'll introduce you to NPTEL.
It was sort of precursor to almost everything that you're saying, and which if you go around the country asking university students, their main introduction to many of the technical topics was through NPTEL. It's only now that we have not been able to upgrade NPTEL and we have not done it. NPTEL has done what you are asking for. It's not as if we have not done it. It's just that we have not been able to publicize it. We have not been able to talk about it in all the fora. That's a cultural problem. So there's no paradigm shift that is required. What is required is our people to know that things are being done here and come to us and asking that do some of these things, do more of these things. That is a problem, not our ability to do something.
Okay, for the interest of time, so we thank all of you.
I just want to add what Manjunath said.
No, please. We can have a discussion after lunch break. Thank you.
I just want to correct Manjunath. So we have MOOCs, massive open online courses running, which is an extension of NPTEL. So anybody in the country can register for those courses. You get certification, there's an exam. So we have moved ahead from NPTEL. In fact, there are lots of courses at present running under this MOOC model. So we have graduated from NPTEL. So you are talking about Khan Academy. Now we have a very rich resource of courses available under MOOC.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you all the panelists. Thank you for your
and PhD in Physics from Delhi University. Sir, I would like to request to kindly initiate the session.
Good afternoon. It's extremely great pleasure to be here. It's a great session. It started in the morning and very interesting panel discussion. IIT products and IIT professors made things much more interesting later part of the session. So we have another panel discussion. I'm not sure what is going to happen. A session which was planned. The panelists for this panel discussion, we have Professor Rajakumar, Director IIT Bhubaneswar. Sir, please join us.
You have to ask one doubt. I have so many doubts.
It's my pleasure to invite Mr. Munir Mohammed from IEEE. Munir, I am not seeing you. Is Munir aware that the panelist is going to be here before? And continuing in this chain of powerful panelists, we have Commodore Dr. Jaina. Dr. Jaina? Yeah. And Dr. Arun Golas. This is working? Okay, perfect. Munir has joined us. Perfect. So the panel is extremely rich and it's very difficult, but I will fail in my duty if I don't introduce. I can't really do justice to introduce Professor Rajakumar. I'm very sure the research and later part institution credentials what Dr. Rajakumar has, it needs no introduction. He is professor of IIT Bhubaneswar. He has created this IIT, and before this he has created SOA University. I'm lucky to know about some of these facts after he, after his major assignment research, I would say research assignment from IIT Kharagpur. These are the two major academic plus establishing academic institutions. That's the major thing which he has done in the recent past, a great contribution to the nation. I can't add any more word in the introduction to Dr. Rajakumar. So maybe I will suggest when our speakers will take their turn to explain their specific views on the topic, and the topic of is smart city realization. I would request that panelists to introduce little more about, not about what they are, but I'm sure it will be useful for a large number of communities present here, what specific contributions they have done in the related field in the recent past. Right? So that is one thing I would request.
Good evening to all. Eminent guests, invited speakers, ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome you all to this session 2, that is IEEE 5G technical session 2. This session is on cognitive radio networks and software-defined networks. So we are having 2 eminent speakers. Let me invite the first speaker, Professor Shanti Prasad Maiti. Professor Shanti Prasad Maiti is currently with IEEE C4 India. So he did his BE from EC department NIT Durgapur, his masters from University of Bardhaman, PhD from IISCT. Professor Maiti is having research interest in different areas including MC-CDMA, cognitive radio networks, comprehensive sampling, digital imaging, watermarking, secret saving, medical image reconstruction, and many areas. So now let me invite Professor Maiti to deliver his talk on cognitive radio networks.
Accordingly, I make the title and abstract when it was asked for, and also make the slides like that way. But after reaching yesterday and interacting with other people, I have another idea, and so
and how we can use cognitive features in these scenarios. And finally, I'll talk about some challenges in implementing cognitive radio-based technologies for smart city applications.
Professor Banerjee, so we're having 20 to 25 minutes.
That's right. You just let me know 5 minutes before it. So this is basically a smart city logo which I got from the IEEE. I just skipped this. So as Dinesh mentioned in today's panel discussion, that the conceptualization of smart city varies from city to city and from country to country, but it essentially depends on
Thank you, sir. Now may I please request Professor Sinha to kindly felicitate our chair, Professor Prasant Kumar Sahu, sir. Thank you, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, we will take a break for 5 minutes and we shall wait for the audience from Hall 2. A panel session is going on. Once it will be over, then we will start our blanket speech right after 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thing that I find, and having dealt with this in terms of the telecom sector, which is insistently being relied on to provide the backbone and the resources for the achievement of much of what we see here, the question invariably arises, oh, the resources are going to come from the public-private partnership. And you saw this in the plan, and I don't want to rain on anybody's parade, and I'm saying this is a great plan, this is a good plan,
It is something that we must work on. It is something that we must achieve. But we must ask ourselves, when you have public-private partnerships, there's always a constraint in terms of a finite amount of resources that is going to be available at any particular time. Those of you folks who are in engineering will know what absorption theory is, right? If in any particular fluid you introduce some type, what is the absorption characteristics of the medium that you introduce something in? So we have to ask ourselves, what is the absorption rate of our environment in order to be able to absorb the types of changes that we are asking that to be absorbed. That's why I asked, what is the time frame for all of this? So one of the particular constraints is going to be the accumulation of resources to be able to execute around these very, what I say, generous and ambitious things. Not, as I said, that the end results are not something that I would say are bad, or I'm saying that what is the priority that must come when you have this type of plan that is envisioned. And I would suggest that one of the things that we must look at, especially in the context of India, is we have to prioritize, and I, from my personal perspective, would say the simple process of garbage collection and disposal must take priority. Our country, our cities, and our urban areas, and be it urban or rural, is just drowning with garbage. And the health risks of this and what it does to our cities and into our areas is just pathetic. And not because the technology doesn't exist, but there just doesn't seem to be a matter of will of putting the pieces together to be able to achieve outcomes. Now, I was just driving in Florida, all right, and I was in the southern part of Florida, and a gentleman who I was driving with pointed to a big area, not very big actually, not even half the size of your campus here, and there was a self-contained building. And I asked, what's that? He said, well, that is a garbage disposal unit. And what it does is, because of the way it's structured, because of differentials in pressure, it is self-contained, no contamination gets out, and it processes all of the city waste generated in that particular area. So it's not as if the technology is unavailable. The problem that we have is the collection of this garbage, the separation perhaps of this garbage, the removal of this to a location, and the processing of it. None of us in our situation wants to have what we call not in my backyard syndrome. Somebody was saying that we all want Bhagat Singhs but not in my family, thank you. And this is the problem, where we don't seem to be able to process these solutions in our own backyard. And we have to get over this syndrome of saying is that where do we locate these in a safe situation that can sanitize the processing of waste. It's not that the technology is not available. What stops us? Health. We read the headlines. 60 little babies died. For what reason? If we have to get smart, we have to say, can't we find out what a smart city means in terms of being able to address this fundamental issue of what we deal with day in and day out of the affordability of basic health? How is this not part of the prioritization of our smart environment? And I would again suggest that it's not because of lack of imagination, it's not because of a lack of resources, it is because of a prioritization of our direction. It is of a focus of our will, and it is for a aggregation of government, of private resources, and public support that is essential in terms of moving forward. And so my time is up. I just want to encourage all of us to be able to say that if we want to move forward, let's focus on these issues. And as poet laureate said, is that where the mind is without fear. We should not fear to imagine, and we should not fear to aspire, and we should not fear to commit. But let us dream with our feet firmly planted on the ground, so that truly we can say, into that haven, my Father,
left my country away. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Matthews. Without wasting any time, I invite all of you who are present here to go to the top floor where
It's a key element for the 5G initiative, and it's actually led by IIT and here in India. And similarly, there's a frugal 5G which has been initiated by Dr. Abhay Karandikar, and this is something very crucial for Indian markets, wherein the requirements are if you describe, many people have already described what 5G is, and these requirements might not be required for India. But basically, hence, we are not looking for
Thank you, sir. Now may I please request you to felicitate Dr. Prashant Mishra from TCS Research, Bangalore. Thank you, sir. Now may I please request Professor Damodar Acharya, sir, to kindly felicitate our chair, Professor Prabhas Ranjan Sahu, sir, from IIT Bhubaneswar. Thank you all for once again. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we shall start our next session on topic MIMO, OFDM and Smart Grid. Now, the honor of Professor Prashant Mishra, sir, will honor the chair. Sir, may I please request you to initiate the session.
Which has been kept on the terrace. These are the photovoltaic panels, and this is the line which is coming to the fuel cell. Now if you see, this is the computers, and these are the junction box of the fuel, that is the photovoltaic cells. And we have done this one intentionally, and we have done, basically we have taken 50 watt, 20 photovoltaic panels, which has been culminated here, so that we can make our own connection. We can make series connection, we can make parallel connection, we can make series parallel connection, we can make any puzzled connection. So we will see based on which connection we are able to get maximum power output at a specific desired location. If I go for small scale, means little bit higher in the range,